Hello. Good evening, Shiva. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yes, good evening. Good evening, Bhumi.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening. So,
It's
while
good.
and
Uh,
network is like I'll sometimes switch
oh,
off my video then.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then now I will stop share my screen share. You can do share your screen. Okay, shall we start now then, Bhumi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. A very good afternoon to all my dear little friends. And this EcoTalks series is very particularly we have scheduled for our little friends, who means the students, on second Friday of every month. And this time on this month for September, our theme is Tigers of Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, which is very a disputed question in within Kerala. But at the very same time, a very relevant question, or very relevant topic on this particular thing. And for detailing you about all these things, we have Sri Durai Bhuminathan here, who is the landscape coordinator, wildlife of our Western Ghat Niri landscape program. He had a very good he have a very good and immense experience with the wildlife and wildlife related things. And you must be remembering that he had a session on Jumbos of Nilgiris some a few months back. So with this introduction, I don't take much of Bhumi's time. So with this introduction, I welcome Bhumi to this session to lead with the students. Okay, the floor is yours on Bhumi.
So thank you, Shiva, for the introduction, and very good evening to all of you. And it's my pleasure to meet all of you in the Eco Talk series. So today we will be discussing about the tigers of Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. So I just share my screen so that I have some slides to go through. Is the slides visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so so my name is Bhuminathan. I work with WWF India in the division called Wildlife and Habitats. Under the Wildlife and Habitats, we have several landscapes in the country in which the Western Ghats Nilgiris landscape is one of the one of the important landscapes for the WWF India. And our landscape office is based out of Coimbatore, and we have a priority species like tigers, elephants, and Nilgiri Thar in the landscape to work on. And we have been working closely with the Kerala Forest Department and the Tamil Nadu Forest Department on for the species work like tiger conservation and elephant conservation. And in terms of tiger conservation, we have been working about 10 years now, started with the camera trapping exercise. All of you know the exercise which is used for the camera trapping is the method used for identification of the tigers, individual tigers, and based on that the population site is being understood. So earlier it used to be like the the tiger, the pug mark of the different size of the tiger tracks are being used for estimating the tiger numbers in a given area. So the recent the advanced technology is the camera trapping, whereby the individual tigers are photographed, and then the individual tigers are identified based on their unique the stripe pattern. So moving on to the landscape. So it's got stuck. What? Yeah. Sorry. So you can see the landscape, the map of the landscape, where the Wayanad is very well connected with sharing boundaries with the Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, and it is a very large landscape of about 12,000 square kilometers from Hasan, Kodagu of the Karnataka part, and Brahmagiri, Pushpagiri, and Talakaveri wildlife sanctuaries also in Karnataka, and Nagargole, Bandipur, BRT, all of that falls under the Karnataka side. And Wayanad and Nilambur areas and Silent Valley coming under the Kerala part, and Mudumalai, Nilgiris, Mukurthi, Satyamangalam, Erode, up to it goes up to Banarghetta, close to Bangalore. It's connected forested areas where the largest population of tigers, the stronghold for tigers in the connected landscape is the area where tigers and elephants, the largest population are found. And in elsewhere, it's like fragmented landscapes, and there is no such huge habitats for this priority species. And if you look at Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary itself, which is where it is in two pieces. The northern part is called Tolpetti, and the southern part of the Wayanad is Kurchiad, Muttanga, and Sultan Batteri area. It is very well connected with the North Wayanad Division and Aralam Wildlife Sanctuary. So it is a very interesting and excellent habitat for tigers. And if we projected in only in the part of the adjoining areas, you can see the south and southeastern part of so the southeastern part is Mudumalai Tiger Reserve, the northern part is Bandipur Tiger Reserve, and the northwest is Nagargole Tiger Reserve, and the Tolpatti adjoins the Brahmagiri Wildlife Sanctuary and the Aralam Wildlife Sanctuaries. So this Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary is not only the larger landscape, it is also very important because of this. It is part of the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. The Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve is 5,520 square kilometers of area, which is very important, and very high density of tigers and elephants in the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, in which Wayanad also falls. And if you look at only the Wayanad district, you can see the forest map of Wayanad. It is all over, it is the district is completely surrounded by forested areas. You can see the northeast portion is the Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, the Kurchiad, Muttanga, and Sultan Batteri areas, and the northwest is the Tolpatti, and then the southern region is the north and south Wayanad districts, and then in the southern region, in the southeast, it is connected with Nilambur Forest Division, and in the north east, it's also connected with the Gudalur Forest Divisions of Nilgiris. So it is a very highly the forest cover is almost more than 2,000 square kilometers of area is covered by forested areas in Wayanad, and the mid portions, this light greens are the plantations areas. Mostly the Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary is bordering with coffee and coffee plantations and a lot of paddy fields and agricultural crop areas, and the yellow colors are the the wetlands, the crop areas, the agriculture like paddy, and plantations are mostly the coffee plantation. So it is even the outside forest also, it is highly, the forest cover is almost everywhere in Wayanad. Like the Wayanad, and in Karnataka, the Coorg district, it's all a similar forest areas, and then the crops and the plantations over here, and a lot of water bodies, and there are the Kabini Reservoir, and the Kabini River and Nulpura rivers are mainly flowing through this Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. As you go through the other slides, you'll see more about that. And if you look at the Wayanad sanctuary itself, if you can see this, the red colors are all the lot of the villages inside the forest. Whereas you see the above that, the Bandipur Tiger Reserve and Nagarhole, there is no single village inside the forest, and only it is a protected area for the wildlife. And while the Wayanad wildlife sanctuary has more than 60 enclosures inside the forest, which is clusters of villages and individual village, and so from small settlement to very large villages are there, and where people like Katunaikas and Uralis and Mulukurubas and all the communities, they are living inside for forest, apart from the general communities, Hindu, Muslims, and Christians communities. We have a lot of indigenous communities living inside the Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. And if you look at the habitats, the deciduous type of forest, and moist and dry deciduous forest types, which is very, very herbivores, where you have a lot of tall grass and short grass under the floors of and Mudumalai Bandipur areas. It's very, the terrain is very flat terrain, where it is very it's not very undulated, so they are very, very suitable for herbivores. Unlike Anamalai, Parambikulam, and Munnar areas, it's very highly undulated, and the density of herbivores as itself very, very low. And as such, the large carnivore population is also too low, and the density is this Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, which is very, very optimum forested areas for the herbivores like the spotted deer, sambar, gaur, and other herbivore species. And you can see dry deciduous forests in different density, in different the moist deciduous and dry deciduous, as the gradients of these terrains and the rainfall pattern. It's like the 700 to 2100 meter elevation, 700 to 2100 meter elevation of this Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. And you will find the name itself, the Wayanad, it's derived from this the lot of vials inside the the forest areas. You can see this type of open vials, and there were a lot of grass, and the herbivores are being invited to these areas. And you will see sometimes large herds of cheetal, sambar, and gaurs inside this the grassland grass patches. This is called vial. That's where this Wayanad district itself, and then the Wayanad forest name itself, it's a Wayanad. It's a vial plus Nadu, the Wayanadu. And that's where the special about this area. This is kind of micro habitats, which is very, very important for the herbivores. So that's where the density of herbivores and the large carnivore population is very high in this landscape. You can see the elephant herds in the wilds, and then the cheetal, and the rivers also, the Nulpura and Kabini rivers, which are Kabini is just bisecting this north and south of this Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. One particular, after of the four ranges, this Solpatti, is separated by this Kabini. The Tolpatti is the northern part of the Kabini. So the Wayanad population is again crossing Kabini through Bandipur, and this Nulpura river is to in the Bateri and Mutanga areas. It's a perennial river, and it's a very good source of water for the wildlife from this Wayanad area. And you can see the three ranges in the southern side, which is Mutanga, Bateri, and Kurchiad, and then the Tolpatti and the northern side. So the overall about 350 square kilometers of area, which is very ideal habitat for the wildlife. And as I said, this 61 human enclosure, the habitations are there inside, and more than 2,600 families and 10,000 population, and a lot of cattle also. As such, there are a lot of villages inside. The cattle population is also it's the practicing of grazing inside forest. It's part of it. Shiva, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then the tiger monitoring. So I said, this tiger monitoring is one of the exercise that is all over India. This All India Tiger Estimation is taking place to know about the individual tigers, the number of tigers in the given area, and their distribution, and whether they are breeding, whether they are successfully dispersing. So all of that is being monitored by camera trapping, and once in 4 years, this All India Tiger Estimation is happening. So just before getting into the monitoring exercise, I just want to give you the general about the tigers. So the tigers are unlike other, the elephants or cheetal, gaur. The cheetal, gaur, and elephants and all, they are social animal. They live in group. You can see 30, 40, 50, 100, cheetal and gaur, 15, 20 gaurs together, and elephants also varies in different size of the families. And so unlike the other wildlife, tigers are territorial animals. They defend its own territory. The territory size varies somewhere between 10 square kilometer to 100 square kilometers in some places, even very very larger. It's based on the availability of resources in the given area, like the prey species and the water availability and suitable place for breeding, and all of that counts. So that's where the tiger territory size would be counted. And so the tiger lives solitary, and the male tiger, suppose a male tiger will the territory will overlap with the few female territories, like the female territory will overlap with the male territory, and the dominant males will be in the power centers, and the other the other males would be placed like in the peripheral areas and the suboptimal areas. So so the males and females, they communicate through scent marking. They defend the territory by scraping and urine spraying in the visible area, so that the other tigers would know that this territory is in operational. So we shouldn't enter into that, and we shouldn't get into conflict with the other tigers. So they have a system of defending territories and communicating each other, and they also have vocalizations and communicating each other. And so the tiger they breed and they give birth after 3 months of carrying, like 100 to 90 to 100 to days, 1 or 2 days, the gestation period. And then the cubs would be with the mother for about 2 years, and then the cubs, once they are grown and they are able to hunt on its own, and it would move away from the mother, and it will be independent, and it will disperse from mother, and it will be transient for some time, and then form a territory where suitable areas are there. And this dispersal tigers, then it will be on its own. Then the lifespan of the tiger is about 12 years. And as they are becoming older, this dominant males would be displaced by the other powerful and dominant males. So this just some general about the tigers. And the tigers would hunt at least every weekly once. They need one deer size prey, and in one sitting it will be finishing of like 30-40 kilos of meat. And few days it would be visiting the kill, and then it secure the food, and as it rotten, and it will be feeding. And the tigers are also, their numbers were very very uh, high in the past. And over the years, the numbers are drastically down, and a lot of its habitats are being taken away, and it's been developed. And so somewhere in 1973, this the Project Tiger scheme was launched, to secure tigers, because the numbers are very very low. And to conserve tigers, this Project Tiger was launched. Then the Prime Minister, Madam Indira Gandhi, so she was the key person to launch this Project Tiger scheme. And today it is it is also called a National Tiger Conservation Authority. And so there are more than 50 tiger reserves now. When it was launched in 1973, it was only 9 tiger reserves. With that, the Project Tiger scheme was started. And now so there are more than 50 tiger reserves. The last one, in Tamil Nadu, the Megamalai, Stivilliputtur Megamalai Tiger Reserve, so was the last one was declared. And in Kerala, there are tiger reserves by name Periyar Tiger Reserve, very famous tiger reserve Periyar, and Parambikulam Tiger Reserve. So these tiger reserves are getting support for the management from central and state governments. And all these the activities and the plans prepared. It's called the Tiger Conservation Plan, and the kind of plan will be for 10 years. And so all the activities would be oriented towards this conservation of tigers and its the prey species and co-predators. And yeah, and the evaluation is taking place every once in 3-4 years, so to see how these plans and all been working out, and how they are successfully thriving in the area. So this so for tiger monitoring, with the camera trapping exercise is yeah, first the team would go to the field, and they would walk along the all the paths and trails and roads, which are the soft top where tiger regularly prefer to go, the paths, roads, and then the nallas, I mean the soils and all there, and they use those paths. So the team, the tracking team, would be following these tracks, and they count and they record all the the signs of the tiger, the scrape mark, and they also scratch marks over this the tree trunk, the soft trees, they clawing the trees. And all these marks would be noted, the tracks and the scats and all that. And then they select a suitable site in a small, the entire area of Wayanad is this. And within that a suitable site would be selected where more probabilities of getting the tiger camera trap. So then a pair of camera traps are placed like this. The area would be divided into parts, and then the selection of the site, and they will be fixing the and here's a camera trap, and the lower right you can see the field staff fixing the camera trap across the road. So either side of the road, the paths, there would be a camera trap. The thermal motions, thermal bodied animal moving through, and it will take a picture, and after the picture it will take a few seconds video also. Once in every week the data will get downloaded by the staff, and by end of 1 month the data would be analyzed to tiger captures. Like that, the prey species, what the tigers are feeding on, like the cheetal, sambar, gaur, so to eliminate their population also, the population estimations are laid inside the forest, and those transects would be walked by the team. Every transects will be walked 3-4 times, and then the data, the sightings, number of sightings are taken for the calculation of the density of the prey species. So based on this the transect methods, so Wayanad has a very good density of the cheetal, sambar, and you can see 40 plus the cheetal in a particular in 1 square kilometers. So it is very high density where naturally the large carnivores would be very good. So you can see all this. This is taken from Wayanad. You can see large. If you are taking a small ride in the Mutanga wildlife area, Mutanga tiger wildlife area, it's allowed for safaris, and during the safari time, if anybody goes there, you can see at least few hundred cheetal on the roadside itself. So good density of cheetal, and the sambar density is also very good, and it's about 8 per square kilometer when we were doing. And probably now we WWF India, when we started the very first time the exercise of tiger monitoring, camera trapping exercise, and then the prey population estimation, it was somewhere in 2012, where by now the population is even increased. So when we were doing the population itself, it was very high numbers, and now even the number we see, it's very high. So that's a very interesting and very healthy sign. And a lot of the gaur, Indian gaur, so tiger prefer the large prey size, like sambar, cheetal, and gaur. And so these three species are very good in density in the Wayanad. And you can look at the comparison between the three protected areas, like Wayanad, Mudumalai, and Satyamalam Tiger Reserve. And you can see almost the Mudumalai and Wayanad, the cheetal population, the cheetal density is almost equal, and the sambar also, and elephant population is even high than the other two protected areas. So the density wise, it's not something low, the high in the tiger reserves, low in the sanctuary. It's not like that. Even some tiger reserves, there are only less than 10-20 tigers, but Wayanad has a very good the tiger population. And when we were doing this Wayanad, we found more than 75 individual tigers, and of course they are using both Wayanad and Bandipur, Nagarhole and Mudumalai. They have overlaps, but still individually so many tigers are using. And of course it is a success of the forest department and the people over Wayanad, the people in Wayanad, their support. Without the coexistence, it's not possible to have such a good population of the tigers. So of course the leopards also very good, and when there is a high population of tigers, and sometimes the leopard numbers would not be so high, and here it's like that. When we were doing this tiger monitoring, it was over 30 leopards were also been located. So this is how the distribution, the high density in the Tolpati areas and Kurchiat, and were slightly lesser in the south and southeast and southwestern side. And were a lot of human settlements also there. And you can see this the anthropogenic pressure were a lot of villages and their activities, and yet the density of the tigers are the prey population is very good. So we also been working with other tiger reserves like Anamalais in Tamil Nadu, and Satyamangalam, were a lot of the similar situation. Lot of enclosures and human habitations are there inside the forest. So inside in all of these three areas, and Wayanad, where there is no influence, pressure from the people, like it's like people and the tigers are well placed, and they are sharing the same space. And if you can look at the different tiger reserves in the country, like the highest density to the lowest, you can see the Wayanad is within the sixth place. Very good density per 100 square kilometers. Like it's very good. And even several tiger reserves, you can see that the density is very low, whereas Wayanad is doing very good. And the photographs would be generated like this when cameras are placed, and photographs are taken, and so we will have to get the picture of the side individuals, other images. So the stripe pattern, it's something like it's unique, like we our thumb impression, the thumbprints. So it is unique for each individual. For each individual's left and right flank, also the stripe pattern varies. So it won't be similar how the stripes are looking on the right side and the left side. It will be differ. So it is differ. So based on that, individual the tigers are being identified, and we have say at the, same time we have cameras in all the smaller units. So those the single individual which is captured in multiple stations, multiple camera trap stations, so that will also be taken to look at how the ranging of this particular individual. Whereas where in other tiger reserves where we have been doing tiger monitoring, and we looked at the movement of tigers. In most of the traps would get the same individuals, same individual again and again, and multiple pictures in a single station. Whereas in Wayanad, in a single station, you get multiple individuals, including the multiple males, would be using. That means that good habitat and good population of the tigers. So here you can see, how sometimes two individuals comes, sometimes the mother and the cubs, two, three cubs would be associating, and all that will be taken for consideration, whether the population is doing a successful breeding, whether they are successfully raising their cubs into a dispersal age. You can see the top left, you can see the three tigers at the same size were mother and cubs. So the cubs are grown to the mother size and they are ready to dispersal. Whereas this the lower left, you can see the two cubs, one close to the tail and one going behind, ahead of the mother. So these are very just come out of the den and joining mother for the outings. So you can see the pads here. So like so interesting area where the tigers in terms of tigers. So I was there once when when I was following a elephant in a while where we were looking for a selection of a tusker for radio collaring in Wayanad, and suddenly there was alarm call. So whenever the cheetal or sambar, they see any carnivores, or they get to know that any movement of carnivores in the area, immediately they'll do alarm call. Sometimes this the cheetal would not see the tigers in the bushes. The langurs sitting on the tree, the primates, the monkeys. So they first see, they do alarm, and then the cheetal and the sambar in the same area, they will also give alarm call. And then so that alarm calls, we know that some carnivores are approaching, so that's where the cheetal are alarming. Then we were very quiet, and I had two very good the tribal watchers at that time, one Mr. Gopalan and Mr. Chandran with me, so in Wayanad in the Mutanga range. So we were very quietly sitting slightly in an elevated place over the branch, and we saw a tiger is coming and just jumping a small rivulet, small stream, and it was an excellent sighting in the daytime. And I've been going through in so some safari routes like in Bandipur and other areas where a lot of vehicles are going. It is easy to see tigers, but place like the Wayanad and Satyamangalam and Anamalai, Parabikulam and all, sighting tigers in a fort, it's very, it's not that quite frequent. So it was very encouraging time. So like that, several times I have been going to different places. And one place we saw one elephant carcass was there. Elephant carcass was there. Then we just saw some, sign of the attack by the tiger. So then we placed a camera trap in the close to the kill, and in couple of days we found tiger coming in and feeding and then going. So sometimes the tigers would also kill young elephants. It is that's where, when the elephant herd where there is a small babies and young ones, and the herd would be very very agitated if they see a tiger, and they put the calf right inside the middle of the group. So when we do camera trapping exercise, this tiger monitoring, it not only provides data about the tigers, and also the co-predator, the whatever carnivores or herbivores are there, they'll also be captured in the camera trapping. So leopards are captured. A lot of leopards are captured. More than 30 leopards were captured, and so these leopards are also individually identified by the dots. It's called the rosette pattern. So you can see it's in different shape, the polygons, where it is not unique for you know it is a unique pattern for the individuals. Left and right differ, and based on this, individual leopards are being identified. So you can see Wayanad, Periyar, for a comparison, Periyar, Parambiculam tiger reserves. So it's nowhere near to Wayanad, even the other tiger reserves. So it's a very, very important area for the tigers. So some of the issues, we can say threats. So large number of the cattle population where they are grazing in the same areas, and naturally where the tigers would also some the tigers which are becoming old age, and which are losing its canine, and which is very weak. So they would, come into conflict, and they would look for the easy prey. The easy prey is, the cattle. So especially the hybrid one, they would not run very fast, and sometimes they even attack people, because when they are becoming weaker and old, and the weaker one will come to a peripheral areas close to, the habitations, and sometimes they attack on the cattle. You can see when, in the past, in 20 years ago, the number of tigers in the landscape were very, we don't know how many tigers were there, but definitely we know that it was very low, because seeing a pug mark of the tiger, the tracks of the tiger itself was very, very, big pleasure those days, and we could not see. Now everywhere, if you walk 2 3 kilometers in any roads, you will definitely see, yeah, a few signs of tigers in the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. If you go to Mudumalai, Wayanad, Bandipur, Nagarhole, Satyamangalam, anywhere you will see. If you walk along the stream, if you walk along the road, the tigers. So as the tiger numbers are also putting up, and the number of conflict incidences also, it's increasing. You can see the number of cases of this cattle lifting by large carnivores. Sometimes we do not know exactly whether the tiger or the leopard, whether the responsible carnivore was tiger or leopard. But mostly the tigers, the feeding signs would give some idea that the tigers prefer to feed where the meat is very bulk, like from the buttocks and all that it starts. But the leopards would open the stomach, and it feeds the internal organ like liver, and it's like a very messy feeder. So, and then the mark of the canine mark, and the how, where it bitten, all of that would be taken. And sometimes this pug mark size, the pug mark of these leopards will be lesser than 10 centimeter, whereas this for tigers, uh, 10 centimeter to somewhere 15 to 18 centimeter, the size of the pug mark, the width and length. So based on that, we can ascertain what carnivore is involved in this, killing. Then they would also sometimes, the displaced tigers, which is being pushed out by the other, dominant tigers. So they would sometimes stray out of the forest. They get into these coffee plantations, or they don't see what it is, but whether it is forest or private land. So naturally, they just move into the contiguous areas adjoining to the forest, which are diffused. The plantations and the forests are diffused boundary, and they just move inside for the safety. And where sometimes this, people, when they walk into the tiger very close, they would be attacked. So such incidences were also in the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve in the last 6 7 years. There were three such incidences of, although there is a very high numbers of tigers in this landscape, unlike this Corbett landscape, the number of incidences where the tigers attacking of people, it's not quite frequent in our landscape, but we have seen few incidences where a tiger, from Bandipur, moved through Wayanad and then attacked a person, and then it entered into Nilgiris and attacked a few persons there, and before it was removed from the area. So that's how the tiger, when the numbers and when the area is doing good, and more and more, very very high level of plan for mitigation of conflict is required. And in Wayanad, once when I was there, a tiger was captured from the coffee plantation, and it was translocated inside the core of the Kurchiad area of the Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. But sometimes we do not know. So whether this the tiger again moving into the same area coming into conflict, or if we are capturing from one place and translocating to a far away place, some other place, we do not know whether we are transferring the problem from one place to another place. So we need to examine such things. That's what the organizations and the conservation organizations working with a department and for what type of what kind of measures to be taken. The NTCA, the National Tiger Conservation Authority, has given a very clear guidelines what to do when conflict situation arises, and very clear. And this is what one of such tiger you can see from Nagarhule. The tiger moved to Bandipur, and then it came to Mudumalai and close to this Wayanad border. So this, the snares, the snare killing large carnivores are also is very upset in the conservation angle. So like several cases are recorded in the landscape, and the one which is on the right. So this tiger had a snare, on the around the neck, and the neck with that snare, it was roaming around. The snares are not put up for these tigers. Sometimes it's for the bush meat, like wild pigs or something, like a deer or smaller animals. They around the village areas, sometimes such snares are being put up. So in those snares, by mistake, the tigers would get in, sometimes in the abdomen region, sometimes the legs would get caught, or sometimes this neck is been caught with. So when it pushing and pushing, so this tiger broken the wire, but this the tightened wire around the neck, so it was gradually killing it, and completely decomposed around the neck, and finally it died. So the tiger on the left, it was in the Coorg area, and were a couple of tigers were also been adjoining Wayanad. So it was they died due to the snaring in the coffee plantation area. So the snaring is another issue. Suppose if the tiger caught the snare in its legs, and means definitely it will come into conflict. It will be coming close to the habitations and look for easy prey. It means it will be like a dog, goat, or the cattle, or the people. So sometimes we put something, and then something will happen, and finally it turned around to us only. Finally we are going to suffer if we do involved in such operations. And in terms of the habitat, the other threat is in Wayanad species, in which the Senna spectabilis and lantana are very highly invaded in the Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, and it is very well mapped by organizations working there with closely with the forest department, and forest department is taking a lot of measures in removal of invasive species of Senna spectabilis. I've seen when I was working there in Wayanad, I used to see the forest department take a they cut a bark like a ring. They remove the bark like a ring, so that the water circulation to the rest of the they'll do it in the lower portion of the the tree trunk, so that the water circulation would not be there, and then the tree would die finally. So this is not palatable for animals, and it's very highly spreading, and almost all the protected areas in the landscape now, the Senna spectabilis is been spreading like anything now. But more than Senna spectabilis, this lantana, locally, very, very thorny, prickly bushes, and covered almost entire deciduous habitats, and which need to be removed, and which is happening now, like patches by patches, the department is taking it away. So other issues that we look at, some national highways passing through the Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, through Bandipur Tiger Reserve, and which has a very, very high traffic, and a lot of the checkpoints, and where a lot of vehicles are piled in close to the Nulpura and Ponkuri areas, like Tagarapadi and all that, in the Muttanga, between Muttanga and the state border. And so the movement of the animals between these highways are also very, very tricky, and number of road kills are recorded, reported, and seen in this area. Not only here in the Tolpeti, also a road which is connecting this from Mandavadi to the Kutta in Karnataka side. So the road goes through Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, and the road kills also very, very worrying issue. So where the speed breakers, and then the barriers, barricades, and all been brought up by the forest department, and there are a lot of signboards along the roads, and the night traffic is closed in this road, to have a free movement of animals across these highways. And that is one of the fantastic steps for conservation of the uh, wildlife here. And one last point, that suggestion also for Wayanad is like, we know very well about the ranging of the elephants. So the WWF, in collaboration with Kerala Forest Department, we have done almost more than 5 individuals of male elephants in Wayanad, and so we have a very good understanding now how these males are ranging, what is the requirement for their range requirement during the must and the non-must period. And it is you can see the one tusker, which was locally known as Manian, and it's no more now. So very very friendly animal. It was always found close to the Chedalayam, Irulam areas of Wayanad, and it used to roam very small area during this non-must period. You can see the blue polygon, which is the non-must area, which less than 70 square kilometers. Whereas during the must, it was ranging a lot, and it was going to Kabini. Sometimes it was going to Nugu and the northernmost part of the forest, across the Bandipur. So very good understanding. But tigers, the population, very well studied. The Kerala Forest Department is doing like all India tiger estimation. All Kerala tiger monitoring is been done. So very good understanding of tiger distribution, and in terms of the tiger population, the trend of the tiger population. So all of that, not only in inside Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, adjoining the forest divisions, the territorial areas, like south and north forest divisions, and like that. So good information is there, but how they are ranging, how they are dispersing, and which corridors they are using. Suppose if you take the Kabini reservoir between Nagargole and Wayanad Bandipur complex, how the tigers are dispersing to Nagargole, and which part has to be protected in terms of if there is any highly impacting development projects are coming, where it has to be allowed, and how the mitigation plan should be in place, and all such things. And then how these displaced tigers and dispersal tigers, the transient tigers, are using, and then the peripheral areas to predict the conflict. So some individuals in different age class need to be collared. The GPS collared can be fixed, and then to understand the movement and then the territory and the dispersal and all that, then corridors. So that will give a lot of insights to manage the population, in a way that the people, is not affected, and then the animals, the tigers are also not affected. So to balance this conservation, so we need to have a further advanced technologies to be put into place to understand all of that. So with this, I would conclude the talk about tigers of Wayanad. And if there is any questions, so I would happy to take it. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Bhuminathan. We have a lot of questions here. Anu, can you just read it down?
Yeah, so one of the most when asked question is the lifespan of a tiger. How many years?
Yeah, this lifespan of the tiger is, it is 12 years in the wild. 12 years. Yeah. So but the full lifetime in the wild, sometimes it's tricky, because so the tigers, they would have a very deadly fight for territories, and one would get injured, and sometimes they, it will be a fatal fight and fatal injuries. And so that's to have a full tenure of the lifespan. So most of the times difficult, but the lifespan is 12 years. Yeah.
And in captivity?
In captivity, 3 years more, like 15 years. So for any species, like even elephants, if you take the average lifespan in the wild, if it is 60, then it will be 70 in the in the captivity. Yeah.
Okay, so how many tigers are present in Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary? How many tigers are there in Wayanad Sanctuary?
How many?
How many tigers?
Yeah, the Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuaries, as per the last All India Tiger estimation, it's 120 tigers are using. It's a very huge number. So when we were doing whatever which I showed here, so this is from 2012, when WWF India and Forest Department together done, it's about 10 years back. But now the population is even more, 120 tigers are using. Yeah.
So what is the APW?
Pardon?
APW.
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
In between you must have used some words like APW.
APW.
Yeah.
APW is the anti-poaching watchers.
Okay. Anti-poaching watchers.
Yeah. The anti-poaching watchers. These are short forms like anti-depredation squad, anti-poaching watchers. There are so many. The anti-poaching camps are there inside this the Wayanad wildlife sanctuaries to protect. Where you have elephants, there are threats for tigers, for elephants, for in terms of tigers, the skin, canines, and the claws, all that, for that they are being poached, and vulnerable areas, which is from where it is a patrolling station. From there the staff goes out and do patrols, and these days they have apps where they are going and how they are patrolling, all that, so the trained the tribal watchers are there inside the forest, and they will be patrolling the area. and protecting these precious wildlife. Yeah.
How many tigers are there in Wayanad?
There's already answered, no? 120?
120.
Yeah.
How many
In
tigers
Kerala.
are there in Kerala?
Yeah, that Kerala, Shivakumar should tell about the entire the population of Kerala. But I showed there in the three tiger reserves where we have been, we have the tiger reserve Parambiculam. It's 30, 35 tigers are there in Parambiculam at that point when we were doing a survey, and similarly in the Periyar areas also I showed it in the presentation. But all Kerala tiger monitoring data I don't know. So only for this three areas. Yeah.
Okay, so what steps can we take as students to help tigers? What can children?
Sorry. Can you be louder, please?
Yeah, what can children do to save to help tigers?
Yeah, just loving tiger. So anything, anything if goes wrong, if they come to know, if someone talks about the tiger, bad about tiger, suppose if the tiger comes and a cow also, they don't know it's a food of the tiger. Meat is the food of the animal. So what we eat, like the tigers, their food is meat. So sometimes we retaliating the the animal, and the animal not only which is the responsible for that attack, and the other animals which are access to this kill, they are also been killed. So as a student, so we should be spreading how these tigers are useful for for our own ecosystem, because these tigers are there in the food chain. They are the apex, the top one. They are the predators, or the large carnivores. The tigers are on the top. We have forest vegetation, and to consume, the consumers are the herbivores. The herbivores like deer, the gaur, they feed on the the vegetation. And if there is so the forest would be just like that, it would be growing like anything, no control of vegetation. So you have a consumer. So the consumers also, the herbivores also should be have it in check. Who will do that? So the tigers are the one checking this population of herbivores. The each tiger require at least one deer size animal per week. So at least 4 5 4 5 deer require for a individual tiger. So if you take that as an example, that so many tigers are there, how many herbivores the deers are getting killed, and so that the population because
Your voice is breaking.
it is a chain. So ultimately, is needed for for all of that. Thank you. Hello, sorry, Shiva.
Yeah. You are audible, but in between, small cracks are there. That's it.
Some
Yeah.
okay. It's a generally
It's
the
fine. It's fine.
ecosystem, the ecosystem services. Yeah, yeah.
So somebody has asked a good
So for
question.
that, the children should connect the tiger and the forest, the ecosystem, or like So that's what in there.
So there's a
And
good
they
question.
should be educating more and more people, more and more of tigers, because this population is very very low. The tiger population is very low, no? Like 3,000 tigers, it's nowhere comparable with the human population. So
Yeah.
the 3,000 tigers are left in the wild. It should be secured by only the support by the people. For that, more hands and voices needed. Yeah.
So there's a good question. If human settlements are there inside the sanctuary, won't it decrease the population of the tigers? If yes, then we should evacuate them, right? So they're asking if the human population inside the tiger reserves increase, uh, you know, then the tiger population will also decrease. Will decrease. So they're asking if the humans should be evacuated from the reserves.
No. See, the habitats once the tigers were roaming very large areas, they were occupying very large area. So most of those areas are now lost, and we have only very small portion of areas where the tigers are living, surviving, and such areas, Wayanad is an example, like where a lot of people inside, there is no necessity of displacing of people. Like the Wayanad is the area where people and the tigers are doing good. Lot of people and lot of tigers living together. So that is an example that we need to carry and have to be replicated, the same the conservation findings here to the other areas, how one can coexist and conserve tigers. Yeah. So only thing that suppose if we bring in more and more development projects, and that needs to be very carefully, that needs to be brought in, which would not affect drastically which would not impact the conservation of the tigers. So that's the only thing that we need to take care of that, because we should give the people should own them. People should own that. It's our pride. Tiger being a national animal, and were very few, only handful of them, and now almost from the brink of very low numbers, and now they are brought to a level that so the sign of showing the increase in the tigers. And so it's a good thing that it is a sign of that how people support given for the tiger conservation. Yeah.
So another question about evaluation. Do they use drones to take census of tigers?
No, drones needs visibility. The place like Wayanad, like the canopy is covered very densely. Suppose if there is a grassland, a place like where the Nilgiri Thar, they prefer to be in the grassland area. It's an open area. If a drone is used there, you will see number of animals. If there is wiles, the Wayanad has a lot of wiles. If we want to see the wiles, we can see how many deer they are grazing there. But place like Satyamangalam, part of the place like the Eastern Ghats and Satyamangalam, the dry thorn forest, very sparse trees, quite open areas where you can see elephants. For tigers, we cannot use drones to, count. So that's where I said the number of tigers are being identified based on the camera trapping. The photographs are taken, and the trained staff, they know where the tigers are using which path, and before placing the camera traps, they identify locations and the cameras. And when the animal moves through this the cameras, and it will take picture, and these pictures are analyzed to see whether they have like this, they have this individual stripes. These stripes, so these stripes vary between individual to individual. Even this right flank and the left flank would not match. It is different. So this is how the number of tigers are being identified. So that's the method is being used by the government of India, the National Tiger Conservation Authority. Every 4 years, they call it as a All India Tiger Estimation. All the tiger reserves and the tiger bearing forest areas are being surveyed using the camera traps, and they identify the tigers, individual tigers, and that's how the numbers are given. So you can see you can Google it, like you can see the India tiger estimation reports of 2018, 2014, 2010, like that. From 2006 onwards, the camera trapping methods are used in this fashion.
Sir, the one question is, what is an invasive species? What is
Pardon? Invasive species, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Bhumi.
Invasive species, right?
Species. Yeah. Yeah, invasive species.
Invasives.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, invasive species, which are spreading quite, like mono species, like very easily adopt, and which would suppress the natural vegetation, the native, the vegetation which is, like the lantana. Lantana is one plant which is, the bushes growing underneath of the trees, and which covers, and most animals won't feed on this. It is unpalatable. It's a non-palatable, and such things are growing and taking away of this diverse vegetation system. So those are invasives, and most of them are exotic also, and they are introduced from different other countries, and for ornamental and for different other purpose, and they are now to control. We are not able to manage them. Once you remove the seed bank, again it is coming up and then covering areas. So it requires continuous monitoring, continuous removal. So such species which are not good for the system, which is not natural to that particular area, but grown a lot, and especially affecting the herbivore population. Otherwise it would be a grassland, or it would be a very nice a different native species, the regeneration and recruitments. So all of that being affected by such invasive species. Yeah.
Bhumi, we will conclude with one interesting question. The question was, however, it was from one Srijit Rajan. Dear sir, this was a informative session. However, I am confused with the one question. Is Bandipur, Parambakulam and Wayanad connected geographically? Why I am asking it is, we can see more tigers in Banagata than in Bandipur, Parambakulam and Wayanad, and in any safari. Why is like that?
So somewhere I lost. Can you please repeat your question? Parambakulam and Wayanad.
However, I am confused with the one question. Is Bandipur, Wayanad, Banagata, Parambakulam and Wayanad connected geographically? Why I am asking this is, we can see more tigers in Banagata than in Bandipur, Parambakulam and Wayanad, and in any safari. Why it is like that? Why it is so? You got the question?
Somewhere it's it was not audible.
Actually,
can you just repeat it?
The question is,
Or I don't know. Yeah.
the question is, Bannakatta, Paramikulam, and Wayanad are connected geographically. Okay, but even then, when we are going for a safari in Bandipur, Paramikulam, and Wayanad, we will see more tigers in Bannakatta. And why it is happening so?
See, tiger safari is different, and the natural, the tigers, you go into a tiger where just they are just you know introduced in a place, and then just you are taking a safari, and where there is sure sightings, it's only a small area, and which is you know put up inside the backyard, where you see the tiger in the tiger safari. Tiger safari is a place where the tourism, where you have few tigers are there to show the people the tigers. But these are the tigers which are there in the their natural habitats, and their behavior is nocturnal behavior. Nocturnal behavior, it's very active. They would be in the night, they are very active. So only by the late in the evening, by the evening and the early morning and the night, the tigers are very active. So in areas where they are free, they are freely moving around, in Bandipur, Parambikulam, and Wayanad, in their habitats. It's not that easy to spot tigers. It's if someone goes for 5-10 rides one time, they may able to see, but sometimes somebody will come once, and the first trip itself they'll see. So it's a purely kind of luck, but comparatively the Bandipur is having more safari routes, and there more number of frequent sightings are there. Yeah.
Okay, I think it's only 5:20. I think we can conclude with this question. Okay, we will conclude this question. There are a lot of interesting questions are there. Even then, since time exists a lot, we are concluding here, and you can most of the questions can be you will get answers from the Google. And you can go to the website of NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority also. So by this, we are concluding this session. So thank you all my dear little friends who still we have two 18 students are there, very listening to the talk very eagerly and very excitedly. So thank you all my dear little children, and thank you all my dear colleague Sri Bhuminathan also for providing them a very wonderful talk on tigers of Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay, thank you, Bhumi.
Thank you. If there are any questions which are sent to you, maybe we can have a clear answer for them to circulate. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shiva. So this is I am in the second talk now. So first it.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. We need that information only. That's hello.
Elephant, and then so
tiger.
Tigers. And thanks for the opportunity. Tiger biologist. So I should say that. But I've been associating with our the tiger team, working in the landscape. So we are also monitoring tigers. So that's how. So whatever from my own experience and understanding, so I talk about this during this presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And listen, and children, please listen that Anushrita has put some links in between, which will give you more information about tigers and all. Regarding tigers, please note them. yeah, she is still, she has put it again. And you can put it again.
Yeah,
I'll hold it for little more time.
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bhumi. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Hi guys. It would have been nice if you guys were not chatting all kinds of things. You know, a lot of the children were complaining, those who were really interested. I hope that next time onwards, you know, you'll not. Please ask relevant questions and doubts. And please refrain from asking and saying, you know, all kinds of other things in the chat. Sorry that my voice is a bit dull because I'm
Yeah,
having some problems.
that's why I intervened it between.
Yeah.
Okay, kids, I think you must have noted all the links given by Anusudha. So, okay, see you on next Pico Talk. Okay, with another one interesting topic. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.